Eagles National Football Show. Appreciate it. Let me, this is going to be a little bit of a salty conversation. These next two topics. See, I've never been afraid to address shit like this, and it's probably why most people are afraid of me. Okay? One, I saw an ad on the, or a promotion that the Eagles were doing and for gun violence. And I was like, why are you there? See, you put yourself in a box if you're the Eagles. When you start to say, we need to stop gun violence. No, you need to stop maniacs who kill people. There's the conversation. And you start to divide your fan base with that. Which, again, you go down the lane. Is that really a hill you want to stand on if you're the Philadelphia Eagles? When, like Michael Jordan says, Republicans buy sneakers too. Remember, you're a business. Why are you trying to alienate some of your people in your business? Okay? I mean, see, where I'm coming from is, whatever your political belief is, I believe that Americans have a right to own a gun. I don't have a gun. I used to, but I don't anymore because I'm not responsible enough to own a gun. I'm not. Do I think there should be more hoops for you to be able to get them? I do. Better restrictions? Absolutely. But I don't think that you should be restricting people or labeling people that guns kill. Guns don't kill. The maniacs that hold them kill them. How do you see that? It's not good law-abiding Americans that do that. It's maniacs. But what you do is if you're the Eagles, you kind of put yourself in a sandbox where you got to defend that. You're a pro football team, dude. Act like it. And by the way, there's a part of me that goes, hey, they're trying to make a stance. They don't want anything bad to happen to kids in the community. Guns in the inner city are absolutely a storyline that every politician should be standing on that hill trying to figure out how they can keep our kids safe. Absolutely. I'm all over that. Dude, but if you're the Eagles, you're in a not needed sandbox. Now, let me get to this other one. I think the Dodgers are a disgrace. And here's why. So, the history of the Los Angeles Dodgers is this. When they moved from Brooklyn to Los Angeles, they kicked out of Chavez Ravine about 85% of the Mexican Americans in that region so they could build Dodger Stadium. There were many years that Mexicans wouldn't go. Mexican Catholics would not go to Dodger games until Fernando Valenzuela showed up. Fernando Valenzuela tied the knot between Mexican Americans, Catholics, and the Dodgers because it had been fractured because of the O'Malley family. People don't know the history and how they got. The city of Los Angeles gave them Chavez Ravine. That's how they moved from Brooklyn. Okay, so the majority of your fan base today is Roman Catholic. So, and for the record, again, see, you're not going to get this kind of content anywhere else. It's Pride Month. I want to make sure that I'm very clear here. Congratulations. Whatever your sexuality is, whatever you have in your life, if it makes you happy, great. Again, that's not a hill I want to stand on. I don't care about that. Sexuality has nothing to do with me. It doesn't. But when you're attacking the Catholic religion by inviting these anti-Catholic people to desecrate crosses on June 16th, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, and you alienate 85% of your fan base because they're Catholics and they're Mexicans, why are you doing that? What's the point of that? By the way, Pride Month, congratulations to everybody. Be proud of who you are. Wonderful. Great. But when you're using a cross as a stripper pole and performing sex acts on it, how is that not hate speech? We are a country where right now hate speech is very important to people. But the Dodgers, this is a promotion. This is not an opinion. This is a promotion. I mean, why would the Dodgers land on that sandbox like that? Why would you go there and alienate 90% of your fan base? Makes no sense. Some of these sports teams, especially Major League Baseball, they just don't get it. Stay in your lane, dude. You are there as an entertainment source, not a political vehicle. To be there for less than 1% of your fan base and to alienate 99% of it, it just makes no sense. There's a prime example. Hey, by the way, real quick on the last point, and we're moving on, promise. Thank you very much, Bud Light and Target, for showing Americans what a woke country and what a woke political stance looks like. You're paying for it now. Over $8 billion in lost revenue. Because you thought you'd stand in some stupid sandbox. Some of these companies, man, you're there for the consumer. Let's move on. That's my point. I want to get into, as we are now 100 days. Hey, by the way, as I said in the first hour, I love the fact that there is a great energy with that Eagle team. There's a great energy. And them Georgia Bulldog kids are bringing a lot of great energy to the Philadelphia Eagles. They are bringing a lot of great energy to the Eagles. By the way, I love the fact that they're all in it together. Jordan Davis, hey, I'll tell you this too. Jordan Davis looks really good out there. Him running around the way he's running. You know, I would think too, man, if you got to play with your boys and you got to play with your teammates that you spent a lot of time with at Georgia, that's got to also be pretty good. I do, man. I think that's got to be pretty cool too. Good for him. He's moving around. Tell you what, he looks a little quicker, doesn't he? He looks pretty impressive right now. All right. I want to get to my top 20 NFL players in the league. Arthur, he is looking stout. He is. He's looking good out there, running around the way they are. You know, my only question that I have to you about the 6 practices, how do you install a new defense in 6 OTAs and then you get to training camp? You know what I mean? Can you really install a new defense? Just can you really install that in that short a time on the field? Maybe this is the new NFL. The Eagles have been right the last 2 years when it comes to health. They have been absolutely right. All right. Some of these you guys may not agree with. Some of these you may say, what? Some of these you may go, all right. But here are the Big Sil's top 20 NFL football players in the game today. Let's start with number 20. This is today, as of June 2nd. Today. Number 20. Andrew Thomas. Offensive tackle, New York Giants. For the first time in 10 years, the New York Giants have finally found an offensive lineman that's worth the shit. And why that's important, they now have a good player on defense in Dexter Lawrence. And they got a really good player here in Andrew Thomas. He's a good-looking player. He's continuing his way on becoming one of the elite tackles in the sport. And he's getting better and better. I'm a big fan of this kid. I think this kid has an opportunity to become an even better football player. He's like the new wave guy coming in. And I believe that he's got a lot to still get better at. I mean, he's got a gigantic ceiling. So I got Andrew Thomas at 20. At number 19, Big Sills, top 20 NFL football players. I got A.J. Brown here. Philadelphia Eagles, NFC. Did he surprise me? Yes. I thought A.J. Brown was a good player in Tennessee. I thought he was a good player. I didn't think he was that good a player. And if we continue to improve, like we said yesterday, if it's not play side to you on the weak side, don't tip the plays off, kid. Okay? Play through every play like Devontae does. Devontae's a more complete player than you. You're a better ball player than him, though. Okay? But I've got A.J. Brown at number 19. At number 18, I got Patrick Surtain, corner, Broncos. I think he's an elite player. And for many weeks, that Bronco team, as bad as it was in the top 10 and 7th ranked. They were a good unit last year. Even under Nathaniel Hackett, they were good. I think he's a great, great football player. And he's now taken over for Jalen Ramsey as one of the best corners in the National Football League. Okay? Number 17, T.J. Watt, Steelers, AFC. Tremendous hands, strength. They play him right. They move him around. He can cover tight ends. Here's where he's 10 times better than Hassan Reddick. He can cover tight ends and backs. He can rush the passer. He's more of an elite pass rusher than him. He is the prototypical edge rusher on what you want. By the way, he coming off an injury, obviously, but he is as special as you could possibly get. He's a great football player, and the Steelers put him in a great system, and they use him correctly. Can't stay healthy? You think 1 year is can't stay healthy? Really? What are you talking about, dude? He had 1 year where he had where he got hurt. Let's take a look at that. I want to double check that because he says can't stay healthy. TJ Watt stats. Let's see where he is in that. This guy's missed 2 games. This guy, prior to this last year, has missed 2 games in 5 years. Dumb comment. At number 16, Big Sills, top 20 players in the league. I've got Tyreek Hill at number 16, AFC Miami Dolphins. He's the best deep threat in the National Football League. One thing here, I would say this, he's a modern-day D-Jax. He's better than D-Jax because he runs better routes than Deshaun Jackson did. He's faster than Deshaun Jackson. He's not as complete as Deshaun because he played special teams and was a force in special teams and also in your offense. So who was more of a threat? D-Jax or Tyreek Hill? Personally, Deshaun Jackson was more of a threat on a football field to me because he did play special teams. Remember something. When Deshaun Jackson played, when Deshaun Jackson played, Deshaun Jackson, yeah, I mean, Tone, Cheetah's a better player as a wideout than Deshaun. But as an impactful player, Jackson's better. So you're putting Deshaun Jackson against the bottom half of every roster in the NFL. And he's an elite speed guy. And one of the better wideouts during the time. And you're kicking the ball to a guy who's playing against basically a JV unit. Your special teams are traditionally your JV unit. And you're putting that guy out there, you're going to win that battle. That's why he's more of an impact. And that's why if you're telling me, who frightens you more in a game, Tyreek Hill or Deshaun Jackson? Jackson. Because Jackson's going to take it to the house maybe on a special teams kickoff. That's where his value is. It's kind of almost a Jalen Hurts kind of conversation. Jalen can kill you on the ground and in the air. Tom Brady's never going to be confused with running for 100 yards. I mean, that guy's never going to be, he's never going to be confused of that, right? So to me, Deshaun Jackson is more the weapon, but Tyreek Hill is the best deep threat in the sport today. Number 15. Now, this comes into the elite conversation that we had about Jalen Hurts. For all intent purposes, this is going to be something that I have to be very careful of because I have to apply it if I say that Jalen Hurts is not elite. Not yet. He's trending that way. I've got to be careful with Sauce Gardner. Jets AFC had a really special rookie year. He looks to me right now like the best cover corner in the game. He's got Revis in him, and he's got speed. He's physical. He's got size. 1 year in, I got it, I got to apply the same thing that I say to Hurts on Gardner. But here's something here too. He's trending in the way right now of looking like he's the best cover corner in the game. So I'm not going to use the word elite on him. Okay? How many seasons of consistency is needed to be? It's a great question by Tone here. How many seasons of consistency is needed to be marked as elite, Big Sills? Don't you think that's a question you don't have to answer? You know it. Like, did I need 3 years to say that Mahomes wasn't going to be a special elite player after he won his first Super Bowl? Did I need anything? Did I need to know that? When I watched Reggie White play in a game, and I watched him pick people up game after game after game after game in his first year, where he had 21 sacks in 10 games. Did you need to see anything else? Doesn't your eyeball test go like this? Because remember something. Now, the eyeball test can lie to you because you guys were saying the same shit about Wentz. It's lied to me. It's lied to me before. We've seen guys crater. We've seen guys like we were talking about Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham, he went like this in his career. It was a wave up, but they were small incremental waves. And then you look back on his career and you go, guy had a great career. But he came along slower. He didn't just go like this. Holy shit, Aaron Donald. He wasn't that guy. He wasn't Fletcher Cox. When I watched Fletcher's first year, Fletcher went like this. Boom, 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 boom. And you're going, that guy is a bitch. Brandon Graham was more like this. Got better, got better. Got better. That's all you want with your first rounders. Remember, you're not looking for all pros in your first round. You're looking for starters. If they become all pros, thank you. You're looking for starters. You draft a kid in the first round, he can't be positional or situational. He's got to be a starter. That's what that is. You're drafting a starter. Okay, when you draft him in the first round. Pro Bowl, All Pro, Hall of Fame, we'll see, what happens. So I got to be careful with Gardner. And to Tone's point, how many years? I think you know it when you see it. Like to me, I watch certain players in the game today, and I watch this kid Gardner, man. I'm like, man, how many rookies have come in and shut down professional wide receivers in the NFL like that guy did? Dion, Revis, Ramsey. I mean, how many corners do you remember where it just came in and killed everyone they played against? Dude, he was electric last year. He's got all the skill set. You watch him too. Dude, he's great. Yeah, Jack brings up Bo Jackson. All you needed to see was Bo Jackson take the ball on a sweep and go 85 yards in 9-1 and 9-1. You're like, Jesus. Do you know when you see it? You know when you see don't you know when you see special? See, here's I never thought about this. Where am I now? I'm at 15. Okay. Do you know what I thought? This just popped in my head. If I had to compare a player to Jalen Hurts and how I see him, I bet you guys will hate this comparison and how he impacts a game. I see Emmett. Emmett was never spectacular. But at the end of the game, you went, that guy had 28 carries for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns and had a 4.8 yards per carry. Then he turned out to be the all-time leading rusher. And you're like, shit. Like when you look at some of Hurts' stats by the end of the game, 275 passing, 75 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. Was a great manager of the game. His Randy RPO. You're like this. Fuck, man. That guy put up 300 yards in total offense. And winning, like Neil said. Dude, I can't tell you how many times everyone would go, Barry's. He's so electric, Barry. Barry Sanders is electric. But then when you watched Emmett, Jimmy Johnson had the best quote. And this is why Jimmy now likes Jalen. You know why? Jalen has no minus yardage. He rarely turns the ball over. And he's consistent. That is the mantra of Emmitt Smith. You never saw Emmett -2, -8, 75. You saw Barry do that. Emmett was 2 yards, 6 yards, 11 yards, 8 yards, 5 yards, 9 yards, 15 yards, 2 yards, 1 yard. You looked up 28, like I said, 28 carries, 158 and 2 touchdowns. You're like, where did that come? I can't tell you how many times you look up by the end of the game, this guy's got 100 yards. That's it. Joshua, Jalen's like methodical. That's why when you watch Josh Allen and Josh Allen drops back and throws that pill down, you're like, holy shit. See, to me, boy, I'll tell you something. This is a really great conversation because Josh Allen is Barry Sanders and Jalen Hurts is Emmitt Smith. What guy do you want on your team? I want Emmett. He's the better player. Emmett's the better player. Barry's the flashier player. He's going to hurt you more with minus plays. Barry hurts you. Emmett is consistently in the black. Whereas Barry will sit sometimes in the red. Same with Allen in Buffalo. Hey, dude, Barry Sanders was a teammate of mine. Okay? I love Barry Sanders, and one of the most soft-spoken people you've ever seen. Kyle goes like this: when I see Josh Allen, I see Big Ben. Really? I don't yet. Big Ben was elite. Never a losing season in his entire 17-year career. Won a couple Super Bowls, went to 3. Let's hang on to that one a little bit. The Steelers are not the same without him. I mean, they don't even – Kenny Pickett? Okay, good luck. I don't see it yet. Roethlisberger was an elite player. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Kid yourself. Do you know he has one of the highest winning percentages in the history of the National Football League? I mean, that 2004 draft, it's okay. Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers. It's Roethlisberger, Rivers, and Eli. In that order. You even heard Jason Cole going, that's going to be a tough conversation when we have to debate Eli. Imagine that. That's going to be a tough conversation. So here, I'm giving you the top 20 players. Seals, what do you think about Jim Johnson? Should be in the Hall of Fame. If you're starting to put assistant coaches and you're starting to put people into the Hall of Fame, probably will have a problem getting into the Hall of Fame because of not winning a Super Bowl. So that might be tough. I think Dick LeBeau, if I'm not mistaken, he played with my uncle too with the Giants. He was a good player too. But I think Jim Johnson would have, Bud Carson kind of conversation, Jim Johnson, Woody Woodenhofer, guy who kind of created the Steel Curtain, guys like that. Monty Kiffin probably could get some consideration because he won a Super Bowl as the DC of that Bucs team. Maybe even Rex Ryan because of what he did with that Ravens defense. I don't know. Jim was a really great innovator. And he's if I were going to compare a coach in today's NFL to Jim Johnson, it would be Dan Quinn with the Cowboys. It would be like he's like Dan Quinn, but Jim was probably a little bit more patient when it came to he was a little more patient with players' development. Okay? He's a little more patient. All right. I'm going through right now my top 20 NFL players in the game heading into the 2023 season. At 20, Andrew Thomas. 19, A.J. Brown. 18, Patrick Surtain. 17, I got T.J. Watt. 16, I got Tyreek Hill. 15, I got Sauce Gardner. And 14, I've got Devontae Adams. Great year a year ago with Derek Carr. He was a second-round draft choice by the Packers. He's a really great football player. One of the special playmakers in the game today. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in Las Vegas with Garoppolo. Could the Raiders sign Wentz because of Garoppolo's injury? I think Wentz is playing it actually right because the Packers are probably going to need a backup. The Raiders may need a starter. The 49ers. But there's Trey Lance news today. We'll get to that at the top of the hour, but the Raiders need a quarterback. And get this too. Here's my problem with what the Raiders did by moving off of Derek Carr. What was your plan? Jimmy Garoppolo? And so you knew Garoppolo had a foot injury. And he even signed a don't say that Garoppolo hit it. He didn't. He signed a waiver. So Garoppolo signs a waiver. You still sign him to the contract. And you don't have a plan B when he's not ready for OTAs or potentially the start of the season. What is that? What's your plan? This sounds to me exactly like the 49ers. What's your plan here? I mean, you got some good football players on the Raiders, and there's no plan. God, you want to know why the Raiders have sucked for the last 20? Do you guys know this? All the way up until I think like 2000 or the last time 2001, the last time the Raiders went to the Super Bowl in San Diego against the Bucs. Do you know the Raiders had the number one winning percentage in the history of the National Football League for decades? And for the last 25 years, they've been a laughingstock. The Raiders had the highest winning percentage. You heard me right. All the way up until 2000, from the time they came in the league in 1960. From like 60 all the way on to like 2000, they had the number one win percentage. And all of a sudden now, they're a laughingstock. I don't know who's a more laughingstock, the Washington Redskins / Commanders or the Raiders. Terrible organizations. Number 13 on the Big Sil's list of the top 20 NFL football players. I got Lane Johnson. You know what I think of him? He's on his way to Canton. He's the best right tackle I've seen in 20 years. He's the mainstay on that line now in Philadelphia. It's a true privilege to watch him play a game. He is a really great football player. I got him ranked 13th. At number 12, I've got Josh Allen, Bills, AFC. I'm with you. We got to start doing it now. This year's your due year. Let me say this to you. He's trended down last year. Follow me. You guys probably think 12 is high. Well, last year he was the favorite to win the MVP and win the Super Bowl. Now he's down to 12. He's trending down. So last year he was in the top 3. Now he's 12th. Okay? That's quite a fall. He was the odds-on favorite. Okay? Odds-on favorite to win the MVP. His Bills team was the favorite to win the Super Bowl. I had Bills and Eagles in the Super Bowl. Like everyone else had the Bills getting there. No one had really the Eagles. I did. And to me, you go from like top 3 to 12. Kid, you're not trending. You're not trending in a good way. Number 11, Big Sil's top 20 NFL players. I got Travis Kelce, Kansas City Chiefs, AFC. Best tight end in the NFL, most complete, best hands. When he calls it a career, we'll have every single statistic there is pass catching. Now, tight ends are different in today's NFL landscape. They're not like the Mark Bavaros. They're not even like the Antonio Gates. Antonio Gates could actually block. Travis is not really set up for that. He's more of a hybrid Jason Witten, but better. This guy's an impact football player every single time he steps on the field. And with Andy Reid and Mahomes, they are a machine. Very difficult to defend. And by the way, when he's out there on the field, you know what he does? He is in such connection with Patrick Mahomes. He makes little nuanced moves underneath the defender, behind the defender. Will do a wheel route, maybe when it's not called. But they're in such good mental, both of them are in such a good mental place. They trust one another. He's really a great football player. Now, top 10. Here are the top 10 NFL football players that I've ranked in the top 20. Number 10. And again, this is any position on the field. I got Jalen Hurts here. Last year, Jalen Hurts was ranked by me. And how about when they had, go back and look where they had Jalen Hurts ranked last year in the top 100 players. You might be stunned. Shit, Chris Sims, I don't think had him ranked in the top 25 quarterbacks in the sport. Top 10 NFL player. And I remember what I said? I hedged it on elite. No. Who, PFF? No. NFL.com, the one the players vote on. Go back and look where the players voted on Jalen last year. Oh, the Chris Sims thing is Pro Football Focus. No, not Pro Football Focus. It's Pro Football Talk with Mike Florio. That's who he works for, I think. Okay? Jalen Hurts. Look, you have Jalen Hurts ascending from where he was a year ago to 10. And you got Josh Allen falling from 3. Remember, that's how this works. Number 9, I got Myles Garrett, Browns. Spectacular defender. Sets the edge, rushes the passer, can cover. Linebackers and running backs, can play the run. I mean, fantastic football player. I mean, when you're looking for complete all tools, play the run, rush the passer, cover, sacks, TFLs, everything. Myles Garrett is one of your absolutely best football players in the sport today. I mean, just a complete football player. No, these guys here that we're saying here, the next one I had a problem with, but I was talked into it by an executive last night. And I was. I got Micah Parsons here at 8. Now, here's why I got Parsons at 8. Because of all the things I said Garrett does. Plays the run. Rushes the passer. Will be invisible at times. He's a little better than Garrett. Rushes the passer, has elite skills at that. 11, 12 sacks. Can play the pass, cover backs, cover tight ends. You see, the difference between Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, and Hassan Reddick is night and day. Hassan's a one-trick pony. Nowhere near. However, Reddick is probably a better pass rusher than those two guys. Okay? Reddick is probably a better pass rusher than those two men. Number 7, Trent Williams. Offensive tackle, 49ers. The best tackle in the sport. Plays the hardest position on the O-line next to center. The left tackle, the blind side. First ballot Hall of Famer. Enormous man. And is, without a doubt, the preeminent offensive tackle in the game. And by the way, here's the difference between Trent Williams and Lane Johnson. It's paper thin. But the paper thin is he plays right tackle and the other guy plays the left tackle position. There's a reason Trent makes more. Plays the harder position. Number 6, Chris Jones, defensive tackle. Kansas City Chiefs. Had a pretty good Super Bowl. Did a really nice job in the Super Bowl. I don't even remember Miles Sanders playing. Do you? I thought they did a really nice job at limiting them in their run game the entire second half. And it was because of him inside. He's a $20 million a year guy, and he earned his money in that Super Bowl. He was good in the second half. Talk about really shutting down the Eagle run game. It got so frustrating for the Philadelphia Eagles in the second half. Kenny Gainwell got more carries. They just completely shut down Miles Sanders. I mean, I don't even remember. I mean, did he come out of the locker room at halftime? Okay. Twiz goes old school thinking, Sills. Well, why is the old school thinking then still, when it comes to paychecks, the left tackle? It's not old school thinking. Look at the money. Look at the money. Old school thinking is paying running backs today. That's old school thinking, and not paying the wideouts. You don't pay the running backs today. Okay, I get it. You still pay the top dollar to the left tackle. Case closed. Follow the money. Here are your top 5 NFL football players on my top 20 list going into the 2023 season. Until I'm proven wrong and otherwise someone steps up, Aaron Donald is the best defensive football player in the game. Or I should say the best interior defensive tackle. He's a sack machine, TFL, plays with leverage. He is a bona fide superstar. I mean, if he's not coming off an injury of a year ago, he's probably higher on this list. But Aaron Donald, there's not a better interior tackle in the sport than him. And he's 6 feet tall. What makes this guy so psycho? I don't get it. He's 6 feet 270. Did you hear me? He's 6 feet 270 going against people that are 6'6", 370. I don't get it. He's a 550-pound bencher. He just, I mean, he's a better pass rusher than Sapp. I would make this point to you. The best defensive tackle pass rushers I've seen in my lifetime, Aaron Donald, probably Sapp. Now, again, I know they moved Reggie all up and down the line. If Reggie was considered a DT, of course, it's Reggie, but Reggie's the best D lineman that's ever played. Reggie's the best. He's the best D lineman that's ever played. Okay? So let me get this right. 5-star, you think that Lane Johnson is a better football player than Aaron Donald? You're high. Number 4, the defensive player of the year, Nick Bosa, is the 4th best player. Nick is going to make a shitload of money, and I think he is the heir apparent to Aaron Donald. And for the record, once again, that 49er defense, which was limited in that NFC title game, held the Philadelphia Eagle offense to its lowest output offensively the entire year, 263 total yards. And if you take the 30-yard gift catch away, they had 230. Again, the offense put the defense in a horrible position, the entire NFC. That's why the score got out of hand. They had short fields. It's nothing to do with how that unit played. And everyone, I don't get where everyone goes, you ran them over. You didn't run them over. It's not true. Your offensive output doesn't show that. It just doesn't show that. It's not true. They were in short fields because the offense had turnovers. That was a complete win by the Eagles. But you didn't run that 49er defense over. It's not true. Look at the numbers. Okay? I mean, again, short field. You were constantly on the other side of the ball because your great defense did a great job on Purdy, and you put up 31-7. The game was over in the first 3 minutes of the game. But the 49er defense kept them around for a little bit, as much as they possibly could. Okay? So, D-Shift goes, Samuel will be a significant loss. It's going to be interesting to see. Okay? Here are your top 3 NFL players. Justin Jefferson, Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Did I do that? I meant Minnesota Vikings. Hey, Tone, did I just do that? Hang on. I don't know why. Sometimes, hey, maybe it was like Tourette's for a second here. Justin Jefferson, Philadelphia. I mean, wait. How come I can't say? I'm going to try it one more time. Justin Jefferson, Minnesota Vikings. Sorry, I don't know, man. Now you got to take my medicine a little bit here. Yeah, sorry about that. I slipped there, but Justin Jefferson, man, is the best position player in the NFL today. That's not a quarterback. He's a tremendous football player. So I got Justin Jefferson. Number 3, Minnesota Vikings. Number 2, the guy who's going to be a very wealthy man really soon here. I've got Joe Burrow. Number 2, Bengals. 2 years in a row, AFC Championship game, 1 year Super Bowl, quarter away from winning it. Will be the highest paid player in the game. Got all the intangibles that look like him and Patrick Mahomes are going to fight out the AFC for the next 10 years. Joey B's a great football player. And of course, it's Mahomes. Number 1 as the best football player in the NFL. So here are the 20. We'll go from 1 to 20. Mahomes 1, Burrow 2, Justin Jefferson 3, Bosa 4, Aaron Donald 5, Chris Jones 6, Trent Williams 7, Parsons 8, Myles Garrett 9, Jalen Hurts 10, Travis Kelce 11, Josh Allen 12, Lane Johnson 13, Devontae Adams 14, Sauce Gardner 15, Tyreek Hill 16, TJ Watt 17, Patrick Surtain 18, AJ Brown 19, and Andrew Thomas 20. You notice this? Weapon, thank you. You notice this? There's no Justin Herbert. There's no Lamar Jackson. Okay? There's no Cooper Kupp. There's a lot of guys who aren't on this list that many others considered. There's no Dak. Okay? And you got 3 guys in the top 20. It's pretty. Is there anybody else with more than 3 guys in the top 20? 49ers have 2. Chiefs have 3. Well, 2 teams that went to the Super Bowl have 3. Kelce, Mahomes, and Jones. 3 factors in the Super Bowl. Cowboys have 1. Only 2 teams with 3 players on it. 49ers have 2. Everyone else has 1. Pretty impressive. 3 players. It just shows you, too. Chiefs and the Eagles have 3 players in the top 20. Probably speaks to who went to the Super Bowl. Weapon goes, Joe Burrow is going to have to bring in a chainsaw to cut the lock off the owner's wallet. That's a true comment, too. I would say your friend Ken Dorsey was not impressive as the OC in Buffalo last year, especially in the second half, Debbie. I know. They got a little bit sidetracked in the second half. Seals, no Jason Kelce. I know I debated on that one down here, but Andrew Thomas right today. Dude, Kelsey's calling it a career this year. I don't. He's so good too, man. So good. He's so good. There's no Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry had 1,500 yards last year. He's not my top 20. And I love that player. You know I love that player. We'll have to have this conversation next year and we'll have 3 in the top 5 next year. Let me guess, Jordan Davis. Okay? There are a lot of, hey, that's right. And Yale, like this, you could pick 20. And these are the 20 guys that I see heading into this season today that are the best players. Kelsey's the best center in the sport. I believe that. Some people like the kid that plays offensive guard in Cleveland an awful lot too. By the way, you should see some of these lists. They got Micah Parsons ranked 3rd. I had a huge problem with that one. I was talking to Brian Baldinger. Get this. They're going to put Parsons in the top 4. I'm not supposed to tell you guys this, but when the list comes out of the top 100 players in the NFL, I think they're doing that next month. Or I think they do it towards the start of the September opener. They put the top 100 out there. They got Parsons in the top 5. I'm like, I don't know. Dude, I don't see that. Like, you really think Micah Parsons is better than Myles Garrett? I have him ranked higher, and I don't know why. And I'm like, is he better than Myles Garrett? Like, if Myles Garrett played in Dallas, would that change the conversation? I just see, to me, here, watch this. Let's do this here. Mahomes is trending up. He's continuing to get better. Burrow's trending up. Justin Jefferson's trending up. Nick Bosa is trending up. Aaron Donald's trending down. Remember something. How many times did people, especially NFL.com, which is the players voting, how many people and how many years did they have Aaron Donald as the best player in the sport? 3? Well, he's 5 now. He's trending down. Chris Jones, I think he's trending up. Trent Williams, I think he's right where he should be. Micah Parsons, he's the one guy on this list that is kind of an outlier for me because I don't like not seeing stars show up. And that's one of the things that I see with him sometimes is he's not there. And that bugs me. So he's probably trending up because he's young. Myles Garrett trending up. Jalen Hurts trending up. Travis Kelce getting better. He's trending up. Josh Allen trending down. Lane Johnson trending up. Devontae Adams trending down. Sauce Gardner trending up. Tyreek Hill trending up. He had a great year in Miami. TJ Watt trending down. Patrick Surtain trending up. A.J. Brown trending up. By the way, one thing I would say about A.J. Brown, the Tennessee Titans did not use him effectively and good enough. He turned out to be exactly right. When they offered him that $16 million deal, that organization, you can say this about A.J. Brown, and I'll endorse this. The Tennessee Titans held him back. They held him back with a philosophy and didn't allow the offense to get bigger and better. They did no services to Ryan Tannehill by throwing him 68 passes a year. When you saw what he can be when you have Jalen Hurts getting him the ball. They completely underutilized him in Tennessee. And they basically, what they tried to do, in my opinion, the Tennessee Titans tried to underpay him, knowing full well what kind of talent he was because of the scheme they had, not because of the truth of what he is. And it hit it for everyone until he got the opportunity to catch some more footballs. That, to me, has to be frustrating. No wonder A.J. Brown takes shots at Tennessee because they held him back. They completely held him back. However, also, Howie was smart enough to see through that. Because when you look at his numbers in Tennessee, they're pedestrian. 68 catches, 1,100 yards. That's 50 yards a game. That's nothing special. But it's because they didn't throw him a lot of targets. It was all a Henry offense. And remember, everybody kept saying, well, guess what? They can't really throw the ball too well. So when we were hearing that about Tennessee, they basically destroyed the offense because they didn't want to pay him. How many years did we hear in Tennessee? Well, Vrabel really can't throw the ball. Ryan Tannehill, this and that. They ended up giving Tannehill $29 million. $29 million per year they gave Tannehill, and you didn't throw A.J. Brown the ball. Imagine what that would have meant if they would have implemented more of a game plan for him and what it would have meant for Derrick Henry. Completely underutilized A.J. Brown in Tennessee. It's played itself out even more so. 90 catches, 1,500 yards, double-digit touchdowns. You had that in Tennessee, but didn't want to utilize that. That's on you. You held that player down. Okay? Yale goes that Derrick Henry's on the decline. How could you say a guy's on decline? He had 1,500 yards last year. I mean, you mean the team's on decline. He's 28 years old and had 1,500 yards. I don't know. If 1,500 yards is a mediocre year, Yale, can I have that? Can I have a whole serving? Can you? Okay. So Tennessee had one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL last year. Parsons turns into a ghost. He does, dude. Overhyped, I agree. So last year, Tennessee's offensive line was ranked 30th. Derrick Henry on that Eagle offensive line probably goes for 2,500 yards. 5.5 yards a carry. Here, if Miles Sanders could get 1,300 yards, what do you think Derrick Henry's going to do? 2,500? Shit. That guy's going to put some numbers up. That guy's going to put some numbers up here. All right. Another topic. I want to throw this out about Andy Reid at the top of the hour here. Power Hour coming up. Please hit the like button. Hour number 3. Keep it here on the National.